Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Popcorn Watchlist podcast, where we discuss and celebrate our favorites in TV and film. I'm your host, Xavier, and today we're actually going to talk about a big summer release that I think caught a lot of people off guard as to how good it is. But to find out for sure, I'm going to ask my fellow Popcorn Watchlist panelists, Anthony, Danny, and Zach, to see what they thought about Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. So going right into it, these last three films are sort of like this reboot for everything going on with the Planet of the Apes films. Really kind of led the way in a lot of the CG acting. Like Andy Serkis, I think really, starting with Gollum and then kind of continued to showcase his talents as Caesar in these Planet of the Apes movies. I think really showed off that, what you can do in terms of the bigger acting stuff going on.
And let's not forget, he also played another famous ape many years ago.
King Kong?
He was actually King Kong.
So he has some experience.
Yeah, he got his...
The Peter Jackson movie, not the current King Kong
The
movie.
one with Jack Black.
Yeah.
Where he's just like...
2005, I think is when it came out.
He was in that one?
Jack Black was...
He's like the main character. And
he was the guy trying to finance everything. Adrian Brody was...
No, Jack Black. Yeah, I know what I'm saying.
Andy Serkis did the mocap.
He was the mocap.
I didn't know.
And Andy Serkis, I think, was just like the ship captain.
Yeah, he was.
That took him to Skull Island too.
Oh, he was in
He had the
craziest scene in the movie.
He had the worst death in most films I've ever seen. Crap, that's freaky.
Which one was that one? The one where he gets eaten, right? By the centipede-looking thing.
That wasn't centipede. That was hell.
Dinopede. Yeah. Anthony now has nightmares.
Yeah.
Good job. Yeah, dude. So considering we had those first three movies, this is sort of like a reboot sequel. Not really, because it builds off the foundation of those first three.
I think
it's standalone.
I'd say a continuation.
Reboot.
Yeah, a reboot. Yeah, Anthony and I have coined the term reboot. Other places say they did it, but no, I think he and I didn't do it. Yeah, trademark the reboot. So this movie, again, kind of going on. I remember being initially pretty hesitant and kind of skeptical watching it. I was like, no, I'm gonna watch it. I've got A-list. We can see what's gonna happen. And then as more of the cast kind of comes through, it's great seeing. Freya Allen's cool because if you are fans of The Witcher, then you'll see her in that. Kevin Durand, who is of all various different characters he's ever played. He's also Little John in Robin Hood. He's also...
Which Robin Hood?
The one with Russell Crowe.
Okay.
He's also the Blob in X-Men Origins Wolverine. Yep, I had to bring it up. Sorry.
Oh, wait, he plays who?
The Blob.
The Blob.
No. But in this movie...
He's...
he
plays Proximus Caesar. Yeah.
He was the Blob?
Yeah, he was. Remember that first scene, he's all jacked up and move on.
Yeah, and then
after Wolverine goes to find him, and he's just stuck eating everything.
He's in a lot of random movies. When you see him, you're like, oh, that guy.
He's also in Lost.
He's in Lost. He's in
Scooby-Doo too.
Scooby-Doo, Smoking Aces.
Smoking Aces, that's right. One of the freaking brothers.
He was also in...
Real Steel.
Real Steel, the Rock'em Sock'em Robots movie.
That's right. Hey, I like
with Hugh Jackman.
Hey, another Hugh Jackman.
Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah, and so, and on top of that, you have other mocap actors. You have Owen Teague playing Noah as the main ape that we follow. Peter Macon as Rocca, and then we also have William H. Macy doing a really good job as Trevathan. And there's a couple other various different actors and stuff going on. Who plays?
I didn't know who Owen Teague was at first, but then when I saw him, I was like, oh, okay, I've seen him in two things.
Yeah.
He was one of the bully kids in the It movies, the most recent It movies.
Oh, that's right.
But I saw him before in the Netflix show called Bloodline. That's where I recognize him from.
Oh, there we go.
But he's just older now, so that's why I was like, I didn't really recognize him because he's not a wee lad no more.
Nope.
I had seen him in a recent movie that came out in 2019 called I See You.
Ooh, I see.
Yeah.
Be seeing you.
Be seeing you. Anyway, yeah, you're right.
We'll go watch Lost. another plug of just go watch Lost.
Just go watch Lost.
He played Kimi in season 4.
And so
watch
other fun fact before we get into some of the other kind of like major kind of like production notes of the movie is that it's directed by Wes Ball, who did a lot of the Maze Runner movies. That's like
I think he did all of them.
I know him for.
I think he did all three of them.
Sound like he just did the Maze Runner films.
I haven't seen any of them.
I saw the first two. I didn't see the third one.
The first one.
And he's going to be directing the Legend of Zelda movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, which he's got an eye for landscapes.
Yeah.
I'll say that much.
After seeing this,
After seeing
okay.
this one, you're like, yeah,
That could work.
And then just have whoever plays Link run a lot. He knows how to shoot people running.
and not talk. He's just
He can literally put Link in a maze and have
But
him run.
it's live action, no?
Yeah.
Man,
Okay,
imagine having
I
a
don't know
Zelda
that.
movie and Link doesn't say a word.
that's incredible.
Just grunts and like.
I mean, it is
sound
called The
effects.
Legend of Zelda.
It's
It
brave,
better be
yeah.
Zelda
I
talking.
mean, speaking of that, there are a lot of moments, and we'll get to it later. But there are a lot of moments in this movie where there isn't a lot of speaking,
No.
which I think is awesome. Like I think it's crafted well that you can tell a story without a lot of speaking. But going into it, the budget was, for given the kind of tech that goes into this movie, about 160 million.
Yeah.
And so the opening weekend domestically was, it won the weekend, right?
Yes.
Danny?
Yeah, for sure. Opening domestically, it made 58 million. And right now, worldwide, it's at 244.
That's pretty solid.
So right now, it pretty much like broke even.
Almost.
When you
Kind of, I
do
guess.
marketing and,
Yeah.
having to press.
Maybe if it gets like 300, maybe it'll.
Well, marketing would be like what? About half the budget or double the budget?
Because when you look
Maybe
at
like 100.
Maybe like 80 to 100 million.
Yeah.
Because when you look at some of the previous ones, like the trilogy before this, the most expensive was actually Dawn, at like
best
between
Probably the best one, yeah.
between 170 to 235 million
That's
for the
a-
budget.
Yeah.
For budget?
That's
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the
they're-
first movie was $93 million.
Yeah, that one was mainly just. I mean, it had other apes in it, but Caesar was like
not just other apes. It had Maurice.
Maurice.
I couldn't do it. Couldn't do it right,
What about
Maurice
War?
is the
How much was
coolest.
War?
dude. He was so
Orangutan.
realistic looking.
Maurice was so freaky cool. I'm gonna dovetail. I know we're talking about war, but like
But the
Maurice,
Yeah, that
Maurice
first
looks
one?
so good.
Yeah.
so good.
Like,
Anytime,
there are times where like this is a real
that's
orangutan.
a real orangutan.
It's a real orangutan.
Like,
But then you watch behind the scenes stuff and it's mocap, and I'm like,
you're like, no,
they lied
Wow.
to me. They lied.
It's like, I
Movie magic.
You sit on a throne of lies.
just want to hang out with Maurice. Maurice was so cool. So far, like the movie has not, I wouldn't say legs. It's got a strong, opposable, prehensile feet and a graspable thumbs. It's a really,
I believe
I mean, it's coming.
Maurice was a mocap by a woman.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, she did
She
a lot
did,
of sign.
yeah.
Really cool.
And she actually returned to mocap at the beginning of this movie.
Yep, which we'll get into.
Or
Yeah.
Maurice 2.0.
For Maurice 2.0.
Rocka.
Yeah, which we'll, again, we'll get there too.
I have my thoughts about Raka. It's a very more biological thing, but we'll get into that later.
Okay, interesting. But yeah, dude. I guess I kind of from there it's so far people like it, but let's talk about what we specifically liked about the movie. I kind of opened the panel up. I know Anthony and Danny's got thoughts, and Zach has seen the originals of like going
Like
through
all
some
of
of them.
From
Yeah,
the
there
60s.
was all of them.
Yeah,
60s
the
and
original,
70s.
all of these 68,
Oh.
70, 71, 72, 73.
And Mark Wahlberg.
And the Mark.
And the Mark Wahlberg one. Yep, I've seen them all.
The weakest of them all,
It is.
by far.
That was the first movie I watched when my family bought our first DVD player.
And you were like,
We
oh,
rented that Planet of the Apes
caution
movie.
live animals. What a twist. Oh man. Anyway, yeah. So you know what? I'll start off with Zach. What were some fun little things that stood out to you about this movie?
Well, I definitely liked the little callback to the originals where you have the apes hunting down the humans.
Down to the score too, like down to the music.
The music I didn't notice because I don't remember much of the score.
I noticed. I noticed the
Because it wasn't
like
Giacchino,
the freaky
that's why.
Well,
He only did the Matt Reeves movies, so.
But they also used some of his themes too in it.
Wow.
So they had the callback to the original chase roundup from the first movie
The
in that
first one.
scene
That's crazy.
by the waterbed too.
I didn't even know that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And which is crazy to think that this is only about 300 years after the events of War.
Is it?
War.
Did they actually say that number?
well, they
I think
I know they
the
said
director-
generations.
The director confirmed it in an interview.
Because a generation could be 20 years.
Yeah, well, yeah, it
Like-
was no,
like
it, yeah, it said
well,
several generations, so it's
In the movie, they said several generations, but
Yeah.
I guess there he
Yeah.
said 300.
Yeah, I read something earlier. I think today actually, where the director confirmed in an interview that it takes place about 300 years.
Okay.
So it's only 300
Since the
years.
Third War.
Yeah, it's only been 300 years, and we already have like how like how the original movies were, which take place 2,000 years in the future.
Spoilers.
So I guess there wasn't a lot of evolutionary progress when it comes. Well, I mean, unless they're just hunting humans.
Well, because those are the
the
humans that were the ones that got that propagated after being afflicted with the disease that made them mute.
Yeah, the ones that are mute and can't like have lesser intelligence.
Yeah, because it did not help the Alzheimer's. It made it worse.
Yeah.
Sad.
I remember during the movie, I turned to both Zach and X at some points, and I was like, or I think both of you asked, like, "Oh, where do you think this is?" Like in the movie.
Oh.
And then like the first like maybe 30 minutes, we were trying to figure out where location-wise this was.
Yep.
And then X figured out it was by the airport.
Yeah, it's by LAX.
For, like, one
It's
part,
somewhere
yeah,
in
one
Southern
part
California,
Yeah.
which is cool. As you see, kind of like a lot of the vegetation's come back, a lot of the main buildings and stuff are gone. But again, I liked the world building. Like they didn't set too much into it because they kind of went with this whole major plot of Noah's family getting attacked by this other tribe of apes, and him trying to get that vengeance for his dad and trying to find his people and his friends. And it was sort of this kind of like its own way, similar hero's journey going on. And what was really cool is it shows that there's these different tribes of apes have kind of picked up different things. So I like the whole idea of like Noah's tribe is about falconing. And I was like, if you look at that, you have evolved apes like being
Or eagles? Are they eagles
Yeah.
or falcons?
Yeah, it was like eagle whisperers or something.
Yeah, it's normally like I think it's a falcon, but anyway, like someone like Danny, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure they were falcons because they had to like bond with the eggs and do all this stuff, and so like just kind of different.
falconry.
yeah. It's because the Mongols did
I
that,
read something
and
about
other tribes and cultures have done it in the past. So it's cool seeing like, hey, apes are doing this thing on their own, and have figured it out.
The one thing that kind of caught me, not off guard, but that I was surprised that they didn't really address, but I guess not that big of a deal. So if it's 300 years after the third movie, so at this point, and they still show that the apes use like horses to travel. In the movie, there's lots of scenes where they are traveling long distances with a horse, and it kind of bugged me. I was like, they would probably need 2 horses for that trip because one of them is gonna die, but they didn't really do that. I was whatever.
Why would the horse die?
Because they get tired and they die.
I mean, they can get tired, but they rest, the horses.
No.
So just everybody who just jumps on a horse, they're just like, hey, we're gonna ride you till you're dead.
Yeah, that's how
Die
it
of
used to happen.
dysentery.
No, that's not. No, that's if you're trying to cross the river in the Oregon Trail. No, man. Like at that point, I think they learned to take care of the horses as well, and they understand that like you're not gonna push it to death. That doesn't necessarily. I wouldn't assume that. It's like, oh, they're gonna ride it to death.
But you're assuming that they take care of them.
They take care of eagles.
Not really. They,
I mean, yeah, they do.
sort of breed them, but I don't know if they take care of them.
They do because they have a whole like.
Well, yeah,
thing.
they
have, that if Noah's dad was like the guy in charge of all the eagles.
Because they're the eagle clan.
They're
the eagle clan.
Because I don't think they breed them. I think you have to go and get your own for like as a sort of
Right.
Right, a
They
passage,
go look
yeah.
for
Yeah.
the eggs.
or coming of age kind of thing. But I don't think the ones that they do keep, they breed them.
I think they just
They just raise
breed
them. I think they
there
just raise
and
them.
like
Yeah.
Because the one thing they mentioned in the movie is that their number one rule is always leave one egg.
yeah.
Yeah, because they're not out to just completely. Again, that's like a difference of what humans would do and what the apes would do, that's a kind of theme that comes up later on of like the differences between apes and humans, which leads us into like Noah's journey, the whole idea where we meet Raka, which is probably my favorite character in the entire movie. Like, again, the orangutan, all the orangutans are already the coolest, but more importantly, he's kind of like trying to keep the pure message of Caesar around.
Well, I think in the universe of Planet of the Apes, orangutans are like spirit. Are they spiritual or also like advisors, I guess,
and teachers,
yeah, because chimps are like scientists. Gorillas are more like militaristic. Orangutans are like either spiritual or political leaders.
See, I don't know if you can bring that in from the older ones into these newer ones.
No, not yet. I don't think they've established.
Because Rocco's really the only orangutan we saw. I think.
Yeah.
Right? Even in Proximus's whole area near that bunker, like it was just so. There were no other. Yeah, there was none of them. So anyway, Rocco was really cool. He's like kind of like it's like teaching Noah stuff, but then also like for people who've seen a lot of stuff, like when they run into like Nova, who's trying to. Who's following him around to try to like just for protection, but then we find out there's other motives. It's this whole idea of just like oh yeah, that's Nova. Like we call them all Nova. Like it's like this all the women. It's like we don't know why. That's just their name, which is really funny. And they're like, yeah, they're kind of slow, whatever. And it's funny to see afterwards where because they're in danger, and I guess this tribe is looking for her specifically. She actually calls out to Noah by his name, and like Raka can't believe it afterwards. She's like, wait, she what? Like, she talks? Like, yeah, like he's never met an intelligent human being before. Like, he's like, the time of Caesar they had that, but not here. So it was really cool. Like, I liked him a lot.
Well, speaking of him, because the thing that I wanted to mention was, so orangutans have a very clear gender difference. Like, the males have like the big circular faces, while the females have like the skinnier faces. I was trying to look at if male orangutans also.
I think it depends on the orangutan.
Well, okay, in the character listing, I guess he's a Bornean orangutan, but Maurice is also a Bornean orangutan.
Yeah,
I think orangutans are pretty much only from Borneo, for the most part, or like in that region, which is why I'm like, okay.
We went from like, hey, let's talk about the movies we like, to like, we're just going straight into biology. Here we go.
Like straight up biology, zoology, like
biology and zoology. Why not? Because orangutans are really cool.
Because like, that's why it confused me. I'm like, okay, wait, because now I'm looking at on Wikipedia orangutans, and like then there's a clear male orangutan and female orangutan. The females look like what Raka looked like. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, did they just not pay attention to hey, the morphology, or maybe because over time they well, that's what I was saying, like maybe over time maybe they evolved to not look that way, like maybe because of like them standing on two legs instead of walking around on four, plus I don't know, diet, but
so somehow orangutans got out. I'll get it from like breeding or whatever, or not breeding, but like getting them from into captivity and zoos. They went from like you said, Indonesia, Borneo, now there's stuff. Anyway, Rocco's cool. He has a book of all like things that they talk about, like laws of Caesar. And again, it's what I love about the movie really more so than anything else was a lot of like the world building it did while still telling Noah's journey. Like that's kind of like my main kind of my main take on the film was really cool, and also bringing in Nova. Actually, her name is May. But like the whole idea that hey, they're still civilized and humans that are still left, and they're trying to find their way to survive and and thrive. But it puts her at odds with Noah, and it shows that like what humans are willing to do to survive, and then what apes need to do to survive, and it's this kind of like, can we really trust each other, but we still need each other kind of thing. It's a really cool kind of spin. And then you have Proximus, Caesar, who like I want to have my beautiful ape kingdom, but like with the knowledge of man, and show that like we can. He has his ulterior motives too, but at the same time he's still like I want to make a place for apes, but and then assert ape dominance. So like there's a foil to understand kind of both of what's going on. that's pretty dope. Like I like that's kind of like the main stuff. But like we talked about sequences of where they're at. I think to talk about more. But like I'll let you Danny and Anthony kind of open up to some of the stuff you guys liked.
I thought the fight sequences were pretty cool, like towards the end, and when he got the eagle to go and attack Proximus.
Dude, half the movie, the Falcon wants to just like murder him.
Yeah,
just like, hey, I'm here. Also, here's your face.
He's not worthy.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like, punk.
But then he was worthy.
Yeah, he finally was like, dude, I need your help. He's like, okay. You asked
Because
nicely.
that was when he was like on the edge of the camp that he was at, and the eagle was finally like, all right, you're cool now.
It's like, hey,
Yeah, we can hang.
we can hang sort of, but you need to chill. And like Noah always had the rap to hold on to the eagle, which is
And just
really
like
cool.
the imagery of like the ape on a horse with an
With an eagle.
eagle on his arm.
That's like the poster, right?
Yeah.
That's literally
we have the-
like
we're
some
the
of the
Falcon.
posters and what's on the main thing. The other big kind of tell is like having Proximus Caesar like with the crown and just like I'm the head honcho
Yeah.
and like we're gonna like I'm in control
What a wonderful day.
and like I love how like
His voice is too good.
and he has a Trevathan played by William H. Macy is sort of like his like history man, like history person to be able to like teach him like the various things like, oh, the Romans do this, like, oh, tell me one of those stories, and it's like, I just want to hear it, and they're like haha laughing and like eat and so it's like, the whole point, like he's trying to play human because in the end he wants this secret military bunker with all these massive weapons and kind of scary stuff that May's like, hey, under no circumstances can the apes get that because we've seen apes with guns before from we saw what can happen. That's kind of freaky, but at the same time it's like it's them assuming the worst because of things that happened before and like Noah trying to reconcile that. Like it's really it's like a little deeper than I initially thought. I was like, man, that's actually really cool. Like and there was always stakes, I think, even though the story was really small of just like Noah trying to get his family back. It's still this idea of, oh, look, like there's a bigger, like either conflict brewing or just a bigger world out there with various apes and human tribes or human, settlements trying to survive. Especially we're saying it's like, what, 300 years or so later on? Like, so it's interesting to see like, hey, they're still trying to get along, but, we just don't have satellite communication. Apparently. But
I really like the scene. I mean, it's a crappy scene, but it was really well done. The scene where they're trying to cross the bridge in the water.
yeah.
And it ended up being the scene that Raka died, or I guess we think he died, but I'm pretty sure he did. But yeah, that whole scene was just well shot. It was like well crafted and
Tense.
yeah, very tense. And then like the apes ambushing them on both sides, and then
And under the bridge.
underneath. I was like,
I was
oh,
like, damn,
mind games.
they triple got him. Like that was rough.
Yeah, that was really cool. And then just like showing you like why that bridge is there and like why that like the water can be like ferocious. It's like you don't mess with water, and this who knows how long it took them to build that bridge. Because I'm like thinking about it, I was like, I don't even know how they did that if it's like that strong of a current. But yeah, it was very, very cool.
And
Sad
the
but
CG,
cool.
The CG looked good.
Oh
There
my
with
god!
him in
dude,
the
like,
water.
Yeah, any time an
Water
ape was in the water,
The
But
water was
anytime-
real. The water was real.
but anytime
Was
an
it?
ape was in the water, and then like you just see like the wet fur and hairs everywhere. Like I don't,
And how the
I don't
water,
understand
like,
how they're doing
like,
this.
It reacts to
Yeah,
Wizardry.
It's insane.
Guys,
Like those
I
scenes
mean,
alone.
they probably used
Those scenes alone that's the 160 mil. Like
Yeah.
not everything else. Like those. That's probably what took them the longest.
yeah.
because it makes me think like they probably used the same technology that James Cameron developed for Avatar, where it's like the wet motion where they can have motion capture in water. Maybe they did something similar to this, like him.
Possibly,
Just for
but
the
the thing is in Avatar, they don't have as much hair as the apes do.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
So,
at that point, then you start adding like the hair
Simulation.
on there.
Yeah, but
So
the thing
render
is,
that
the
is
simulation
not
is
hand,
for the movement of the hair, but not for how wet it looks.
The
So like,
reflection
they
of
have to like make sure the lighting and the reflection and everything is like going with the simulation.
Well,
so it's crazy.
There's a corridor video that came out recently. I sent it to you guys where
They haven't done one for this movie yet, right? They did it for the other one.
They did it for the trilogy, and they talk about how in at the opening shot of Dawn, where Caesar's there and it's raining and the water's coming out. That's all CG, and they were able to do it in the in a whatever software the Weta used for the filming, and how they can get the water, like the CGI water, to interact with the CGI hair. To make it look then when it's rendered out,
it's
look
nuts.
like
It's nuts.
as real as it does. So they probably did something similar, just on a bigger scale, because it's like an actual river of rushing water instead of just droplets here and there.
And then that scene with Rocca is even harder because it was in the daylight. It wasn't like in a dark tunnel or anything like at the end of the movie.
And then, how you get
the scene at the end of the movie was more like they were probably hiding some stuff because it was more like lights flashing and
good.
Yeah, it looked amazing.
Like Noah, that fight / chase with Noah was really good. I was very impressive, and it's almost like at the end when he's fighting the gorilla dude. Like it was like you kind of felt bad for him. I was like, oh, that's a way to go. Like that man's gonna have to drown. Like it was rough. I was like, But then again, that guy did kill his dad.
I believe he's still alive.
Rocca or the gorilla guy?
No, the gorilla guy.
The gorilla guy?
Gorilla Grodd's gonna come on.
He's gonna come back with a vengeance because, I killed your father. I kill you. Like Chong Li. Dinner. And then another favorite one was like the climax of the film where the rest of the Eagle tribe is running away and they go up to the top part because, May taught them, showed them where to get up. After May blows the dam in the water and just rushes the whole place, he's just like, "Oh, I'm your king. I'm the guy." Like he's pummeling Noah, poor guy. And then he finally gets him and the rest of his tribe to do the eagle call or the falcon call, and it's just like, and all the falcons like, "Oh yeah, what's up?" and just wreck him.
So like clawing at him and
that was awesome. That was one of those like, oh,
that's a way to go.
Your uppins have come.
Your uppins have come.
Yeah.
And then
double
gets
died.
Thrown off.
Yeah, he double died. He got killed by falcons and then fell in the water.
And he probably got hit by a rock.
Hit by a rock. Yeah. So he triple died?
Maybe.
Yeah, that's triple death. But yeah, I think we can also talk about we talked about a little bit about the different landscapes. Like the whole run down LA or the different.
They show bridges. They show a stadium, probably a baseball stadium or something.
Might have been Dodger Stadium actually.
Maybe.
Which is again, hey, cool. But there's like the beach where the Proximus's kingdom is, and like he's living on like a big old like tanker, and there's all these other tankers that were beached off on the side, so it's almost like a natural barrier in that sense too.
So that base that they were trying to get into the whole movie, that's not the same base from the third movie, right?
No, because that was
different.
snow. Yeah,
right.
That was
They're in another country,
right? Like the Pacific Northwest.
Okay.
Yeah. That
Were
was
they still in the U.S. or it was another country?
I think they're still in the U.S.
I think they're still in the
because
U.S.
Caesar was in the U.S.
Even though that movie was shot in Alberta, or like in Victoria or something.
British Columbia, probably.
Yeah, up there in British Columbia, but I think the setting was like the Pacific Northwest in like Seattle or near Seattle, Oregon, somewhere around there.
Nice.
But yeah, this was definitely.
It's just a different. It was just a different army like outpost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Which had all these extra weapons, and May's like, "There's no way they can have that. Like they cannot. We cannot let them." That's why that was. I love that the whole hell bent. Like she's got the gun, like the one that she picked up, and like Proximus is like, "That's what I want. Yeah, look at that, the power." And then Noah, don't do it. And she just runs away and like, "What is he going?" Pop. And then that's like the ultimate like, hey, this is happening.
But I mean, those would only last for so long, right? She wanted whatever that hard drive was.
Yeah, she wanted like kind of encryption key to open up the satellite.
Right, but the thing is like, I know she wouldn't want them to have the guns, but what she ultimately wanted was that key or the hard drive. Like the Apes wouldn't have done anything with that.
No, they wouldn't have. But like, what's to stop them? Like, hey, I have this, but
part of me
have that. And then what's the key?
Part of me thought that maybe she was gonna just like do a barter and be like, yeah, go in, you take whatever, but I want this thing. Because she didn't care about the guns, she just didn't want them to have it. Because at the end of the day, it flooded, and now nobody has guns. But
good, but also,
but I'm saying like even let's say he got the guns. Okay, so yeah, you have your kingdom and you have guns, but like you're not gonna make any new bullets, so eventually it'll run out.
Eventually.
So
unless they learned how to make bullets. Trevathan, how do we make bullets? And he's gonna be like, yeah, of
Let me
course,
look it up.
Proximus. I'm gonna look it up for you because I'm the one. I'm kept alive right now. And so like he was the whole like I'm gonna be, subservient to Proximus and May like took matters into her own hands and up to like Noah's and this girl's like shocked, like just like oh my god, like they saw like like Suna and I are like oh my god, like what like they're just like she just killed him. It's like she's like I had to, and that was like the whole like holy crap. And I think that the final scene I think was really cool too, like where they finally kind of met and kind of like yeah we're going our way. Like she had like just in case it's like oh if he doesn't trust me, like if I get attacked, like I have to protect myself. But she had the gun ready, and then Noah was kind of still like I'm also don't trust you, but hey, you got what you wanted. I just want to go back with my family. Deuces. And so like and again the ending was cool because it kind of opens up everything to like
now what
the planet is still
of the apes.
The planet of the apes and humans or just apes pretty soon.
No more kingdom.
But yeah, I wonder what the next the next subtitle of the planet of the apes is going to be.
You gotta keep it going.
Yeah,
they're too long. They're getting too long.
Sanctuary of the planet of the apes.
World. No.
World of the planet?
Yeah.
World of the planet.
It just clicked.
World of the planet of the apes. No.
What
Planet of the planet of the apes.
Apes of the planet of the apes.
Galaxy of the
land.
They already go into space, so it's just Galaxy of the planet of the apes.
So hang out with the rest of the Fast and Furious people in space.
Crossover.
Yeah. What other creative?
Well, you could cross over now with like Jurassic World.
No.
Jurassic World of the planet.
No, we're stopping this. We're stopping it.
Hey man, that might be what the Planet of the Apes isn't universal, right? It's not universal.
At this rate,
no,
it's
not.
the 20th
not.
century.
Yeah.
At this
So it's
rate,
Disney.
put in Transformers.
It's put it together with Transformers and G.I. Joe.
And G.I. Joe.
And they have to hunt the apes.
To hunt the apes? No, don't do that. That means they gotta hunt all the cool orangutans.
Well, there's only one, and he died.
No, there's
He did it.
he dead. Don't tell me that Rocka's dead. Rocka can't be dead. No, but I mean like it's.
Empire, maybe?
He
Yeah,
rock
Empower.
off Flocka, that's what happened.
But yeah, like the
I think
movie.
Empire is
Honestly, like thinking back to it, like the movie didn't feel like 2 hours and 25 minutes long.
Yes, it did.
I think the
think
beginning.
The beginning
felt
is
a little.
slow. It's not boring, but it's slow.
And there's a lot of sequences where like there isn't a lot of speaking, which I think
That
works
adds to it.
in the in the end.
But I like
think it worked in its
Yeah,
favor.
Yeah.
I liked it,
Yeah.
but I did feel that like, I think it was like the first
40 minutes.
no, dude. It's
Hour
like
and
an
10?
hour and 10, 15 minutes.
It's from when until Rocka dies or until like until
No, like just before that.
Maybe
okay, so
before
when
you
May
meet
realizes
Rocka.
lets loose that she can actually
Pretty much, yeah, pretty
she
much.
smells and she's just like man imagine hearing all that she's
Because
like, wow, you guys are messed up.
she talks, it's like
Like
Rocka
when the humans
sort
got
of talking
hunted.
It's
to
Rocka talking to
what's his
quote
face?
unquote Nova and
Yeah.
Noah.
And Noah, and then
the
even
campfire.
before
Yeah.
before Noah met Rocka, I think it was like a 45 minutes before that.
Yeah, because he was with his friends.
Yeah,
they
there
were
was
doing
there was a long time
they're doing
period
this
of
thing, his
the
dad.
first like what 15, 20 minutes is like the thing where with his whole tribe,
Yeah.
and then they get attacked, and then it's like 20 minutes or more of like Noah almost on his own, and before he meets Rocka. So like I felt it, but like after watching the whole thing, I'm like, I felt like it was necessary. Like even though I felt that it was slow, I still enjoyed
I
it.
agree, yeah. Any other thoughts?
But yeah, and then about halfway through the movie, then that's when they get to the whole Proximus stuff. You see where that other tribe has been taking these other apes and the humans, and then that's when they introduce Proximus, and it's like actually the middle of the movie.
Yeah, and he's trying to like get into the military base, and they're trying all these different
Just pulling.
and different types of like it's like that's
It's
not
like,
gonna
all right, it's not gonna work today, so let's
it's
try
like,
something
We'll
else.
try something else later. But hey, you have stuff. Yeah, like you all have sacrificed for this, and like blah blah blah. And so like it was like him trying to be, and then he's still like I like that also that he's perverting the ideas of Caesar of just like like he's twisting it to his own like to his own
cult. He has a
his
cult.
own little to his own needs. And I was kind of like I think that's great to see Noah just like that's not what I learned. hey, this guy's just using everybody. This is messed up. Oh, and he also murdered my dad.
So
But then
apes are
also,
doing
like,
the same thing
same
that
thing that humans are doing.
But then also us seeing it from
A different
after watching
perspective.
that trilogy.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah, and you're like, damn, like
I don't think that's
Is
what
it-
he meant, but
it's not even like human nature, but it's also like, damn, it's
the
just
only-
the nature for anyone with power to probably try to
Ape nature.
The only
Nature.
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 The only group of apes that knew the true teachings was the group that Raka was part of.
Yeah, like
'Cause
he had
even-
the whole, like they had the order, they had the necklace.
It was almost like they were
Yeah.
the ones that had the scriptures.
they were the
essentially.
They're
Yeah.
the keepers of the
Yeah.
laws of Caesar. Yeah.
Yeah, they were.
And he's like, I'm the last one. I'm like, I hope you're not the last one. Hopefully you come back to life because you need to come back to life. He was so cool. Like, just, I don't know, like, not because orangutans are cool, even though, okay, yes, I lied. No, because orangutans are cool.
Yes, that's
But
exactly what
also because orangutans are cool, but also, like, he brought, like, a cool, like, a jovial, like, kind of like that mentor role for Noah and also for the audience to go, like, oh, yeah, see, like, there's other stuff going on, like, this eagle tribe of apes it's its own thing, and there's others around there with other perspectives, and it's the perspectives of like it rewards the audience of knowing what happened before.
Yeah, it was a great performance and like voice and performance captured by Peter Macon. If you've watched The Orville, he's a character in The Orville.
He also
The what they
is in quite a lot of Family
Orville.
Guy.
Oh,
yeah,
Orville.
Orville.
Yeah,
the other not
the
Star Trek
show that's not Star Trek.
with
Yeah.
Seth MacFarlane.
Yeah,
Yes, a lot of people like it. It's pretty good.
I saw,
Yeah, I heard it's funny. Just
I saw the first season. I liked it.
Watch it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get around to
Oh,
watch
he was in I'm IMDb right now. He's actually a cool character in Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus. It's a cool video game. But yeah, dude, Peter Macon I think really was like it's like he's like the scene stealer, but that's like I think that was kind of like the point. But he's just great. Like
He's like the heart and soul, and then he passed the heart and soul to Noah.
to Noah. Exactly.
One thing that I want to add that was kind of a, I wouldn't say it's a negative, but something that was.
Not enough Raka. Yeah, obviously. Like, I'm kidding.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. I took the words right out of my mouth. No. I felt like when compared to Dawn and I mean especially War of the Planet of the Apes, the CG was slightly lacking in some parts.
In this movie?
Yes. I felt like some
no.
things were kind of lacking. If I felt more like the CGI in Rise of the Planet of the Apes,
No way, man.
and or
Anthony,
like somewhere in
rebuttal.
between.
Anthony,
like, between,
rebuttal,
like, like in terms of like okay, between Rise and between Dawn, like somewhere in the middle where it's like some of it looks great and then some of it kind of looks like
So-
they could have done a better job with
So for me,
like
yeah, for
quality
me,
or-
Rise and Dawn, you can see that there is a difference.
yeah.
But then between Dawn and War, it kind of looked the same, but War did have way more Maurice, and it also had like a lot of other different types of apes.
Yeah.
So I think that's where they upped their game.
And they added
2
like
had a
that.
lot of apes, but it also had them like in the forest and like wet. So
Yeah.
that's why it was impressive in the second one. This one to me, I feel like I didn't notice it worse, and I feel like what we mentioned earlier, like between the fur, the water, and then the interactions with CGI apes in water and multiple
Yeah,
like
those parts-
pretty
those
much all
parts
the like
were-
action
were
scenes,
great.
like the fighting sequences or the chasing sequences, when you have like 7 apes in like one shot chasing each other or like punching or swinging at each other, like I thought
during the attack?
I thought
Like,
I
that
was
was
looking
legit.
at apes fighting each other. It didn't look like 6 actors pretending to hit
Yeah.
each other. Like it looked like to me, I don't know.
Well, yeah,
I didn't see it.
yeah,
I still felt like it. This movie, like
No, I'm saying
I didn't feel like there was
some
a
parts. In
I
some
didn't feel
parts,
like
it felt like it was lacking.
I-
I'm not saying the whole.
maybe
the whole
I guess I didn't feel like there was like a huge jump from War to this one,
Yeah.
but I did feel like this one was better, at least to me.
because like the parts.
I mean, it has to be. The War came out what like almost
7
years ago or something?
2017, yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah,
And
full-
CGI
7 years,
is
yeah.
like always getting better. So,
Because of the parts that I felt lacked that I noticed like immediately was the opening scene where they're climbing up the trees and trying to get the eagle eggs. I feel like some of it was lacking a little bit there. Like it looked
I didn't see
it looked too cartoony in some instances.
and for me, I paid
movement and
I also paid more attention in this movie, like their eyes and like their their mouths, I felt like were even crazier than the previous ones, which I don't know how, because
Kind of articulate.
I always go back to more like between Maurice and Caesar and the other movies. Like them two specifically look so good.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like
Especially
I don't know. Like I don't understand how that's CG.
Especially Maurice.
Well, yeah, and even, I think that's what helped with Rocca, like his CG, especially like with he had this almost like kind of like Caesarish haircut, and you know, almost, but like it's kind of like grown out. It looks like, you know, just a normal person's hair. Like it looks
You said Noah?
No, for Rocca.
Oh,
like,
for Rocca.
Like his hair looked like so like realistic, and then when he spoke and he kind of like had the subtle laughing and the kind of like, you know, like remembering some of the things and you know, like, oh, like getting excited about like, oh no, you don't know about this, and like that kind of stuff was like, it just helps sell the ideas. Like, yeah, like to me it was like I have to agree with Anthony on this one. Like a lot of his that's CG, especially with him, is like came out really believable, and even during a lot of like the action movement and fight sequences, it to his point, like even in the dark point where the water's rising, that fight with Noah looks really good, and it's, you know, well crafted too and easy to follow, and while still like adding the tension. Like it's just crafted and, you know, just like good CG and even good lighting, especially on like Noah in the beginning when like it's, you know, he's doing his thing of trying to get his eagle egg, and like, oh, and with the fire, like all the reflections of the fire looked really good too.
I guess what I will say, sort of to what you're saying, is so even though the last sequence of like them climbing and the water rising, even though it looked good, to me that sequence was the most like, okay, this is a complete CGI sequence.
Yeah, we can cut
like,
corners here.
Like the camera's going crazy and they're swinging. Like, okay, this is like, I don't know if the actors are doing any of that. That's probably complete CGI sequence. It looks good, but it's like, okay, that's CG. But then like all the other times that they're like in the grass and they're running away from the other apes in the tall grass because they're raptors. Don't go in the tall grass.
That part was cool. May's like hiding under. I'm just like, and they're like trying to stab the grass.
All that
was
like,
very
that's so cool.
Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
You know, anytime Jurassic Park Lost World.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a Lost World, which also had William H. Macy, I believe.
He was in the third one.
Oh, it was the third one. Yeah. Okay, now I'm thinking of Mr. Brown from Sesame Street.
Yeah.
The clown?
The clown.
Oh my god, I remember that.
And it even had a, what was it? Yeah, like you could technically say that May was a clever girl because I'm done. I'm sorry for it. Anyway,
one thing I will say is they put too much makeup on her. She didn't look like
she didn't look dirty enough.
No, she didn't look like
you couldn't take his word, Rocca's word, that she smells.
At the same time, she was part of a society of people that were still all here.
No, I know.
In the head.
I know.
And knowing how to use makeup.
Yeah, or just knowing how to like be clean.
No, I get that.
Because we had the people.
But the thing is, they show the people that she's with at the end of the movie.
Yeah,
and
they're like,
they don't look as good as she does, or as like clean as she does. I'm just saying they should have like.
I mean, she looked.
They should have exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like maybe a little bit too much. It's like how long have you been like, you know, taking hot showers with like fresh soap or whatever, and makeup. That's what I'm saying. Like if they dirty her up and not put any makeup on her, then it just seemed like she was a little bit too.
It's too clean.
Maybe they put a little bit too many of those.
The little
smacked her face with those puffs.
The puff of.
I don't know what that's called because I don't put that on, but
maybe you should find out.
The puff of powder that some women put on their face.
You put that and you let us know what's up there.
Yeah, not cocaine, guys. Not cocaine.
Comes from.
Not Forrest Bump.
No. God.
You want to build a snowman? No, I'm kidding.
Yes.
But I can't. Oh man. But overall, I think personally, I liked I was pleasantly surprised by the movie. I thought, hey, this was actually a lot of fun.
It was a very good addition to the previous trilogy.
Yeah, like I would be intrigued to see more of what goes on. It's a fun story. In the past, I used to be really freaked out about like post-apocalyptic stuff because I was like, this could really happen. Oh no! But like now, it's like use it as like the setting point to kind of tell stories. So I've kind of grown up in understanding that. And again, like
it still can really happen.
It can really happen, but. You know, not as afraid of it, weirdly enough. But it's more like, hey, like what kind of stories can be told from, you know, something as eventful as that, and then how you can create these great character arcs and really, you know, tell
Still telling
A compelling-
human stories with apes.
with apes because we're all human.
You know, it was still kind of just like a revenge story because he wanted to avenge his tribe and get his family
Avenge
back.
his father and get his tribe back. Yeah. That's
As
great.
you do.
As you do when those things happen, correct? Right? You know, definitely, man. But you know, overall, if you want to go into ratings, gentlemen, like let's go right to it. Let's start with
Individual ratings or like rating it compared to the other trilogy or both.
I don't know. I don't know. If
I mean, I have an idea of where I would put it
don't know.
compared to the rest of them. But also, I do have a number.
Okay.
Oh, you want me to start?
You know what, Mr.
Yeah, you went for it.
You're the resident expert of the Apes films here.
I'm not an expert.
You know. I'm not an expert. Knows Ricardo Montalban. You know, doing all this stuff and you know, and also seen Wrath of Khan. Come on, man, get out of here.
God.
All right,
All right.
give it to us, Zach.
All right, so I'll start off with where I would rank this among the 4 total movies in this reboot.
They're all Nova. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, Nova 1.
Supernova, Ultranova.
I would put
Planet
it,
of the Planet.
Planet of the Planet of the planets. So in terms of ranking, I think I would put this third among the 4.
Behind.
Behind, ooh, that's a good one.
You were just going to say third?
among the 4, so better than what? Rise?
Yeah, better than Rise.
So Rise is last.
Yeah.
So what's 1 for you?
I mean, I like both War and Dawn pretty equally. It's very hard to say.
Which one had Toby Kebbell? Dawn, right?
Toby,
Yes.
Yeah.
Kebbell
He was
is-
Koba.
Yeah, I think he was also Koba in the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he reprised it in
Yeah,
flashbacks.
but like
in the
yeah.
third
he
one.
was Koba
He
in the
was-
second one. He was
I mean,
Koba.
Koba was really
he was
good.
Koba in the first one, but then,
And
he was Koba. In the second one, Koba.
And also Rocket was at the Sanctuary, which I completely forgot about.
Yeah, I forgot
I
about
was
that.
like, oh, so it is Rocket. Okay. I mean,
Yeah,
it looks like Rocket. And I saw this kid.
No.
I think, ooh, God.
Is this the first movie that has a bonobo? Because Proximus is a bonobo.
Proximus is a bonobo.
No,
I don't believe
Koba is a
Koba is a
bonobo.
Was he?
bonobo as
It
well.
was just
Yeah, Koba is a
a
bonobo.
messed up
Bonobo.
one.
Yeah.
Isn't Rocket also a bonobo?
No.
He's not? He's a chimp?
Rock is a chimp.
Okay.
Freaking jacked chimp. Freaking that boy's
Swole.
That boy's swole. Anyway.
I think I'm gonna put War first,
Wow.
Wow.
Interesting.
and then
Okay.
Kingdom, and then Rise.
Okay.
And then Planet.
The 2001. He's like, this has dirt last. Don't tell Tim Burton.
That one's
Mark Wahlberg
that
one?
one's 11.
Yeah. Don't tell Tim Burton.
It's 11 out of 10
Dang.
on the
Yeah.
on the ranking.
It's like, please. Don't,
So
don't-
that's how much I don't like it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's okay, but it's not as good as the rest. And then I think rating, like out of 10, I guess. I give it an 8.
Doesn't have to be at a 10.
This one an 8? Pretty good.
Ape. I give it an 8.
Eight.
You got an 8 out of 10.
Done. We're done.
I don't think we can rate it after that. An 8 out of 10. Now I have to come up with something better.
8 out of 10. I think is what I give it.
Okay.
Who wants to go next?
All right. You know what? Danny, you go next.
I think ranking wise between them, I think I'm gonna have the exact same list as you. I also liked War. I think it just a tad,
has like a slight edge.
a tad bit
And who
more.
doesn't love Bad Ape?
Steve Zahn.
Steve Zahn did such a great job.
Also, the trailer for War is like one of the best
So
trailers
badass, dude.
ever.
Damn, I forgot about that
Woody
trailer.
Harrelson.
Yeah.
That's actually a really good trailer. Yeah, with the
They
Black
show,
Ops
like-
team.
Yeah.
Like,
Kinda
at the waterfall, you
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Such a good trailer. And then score wise for this one, I think maybe just a solid 7. I'll give it a solid 7.
Solid
All
7.
right.
All right, I'll go. Okay, so also my third. I think I'll put it third, but Dawn I think is the best. Dawn is too good. Dawn is very good. War would be second, and then this one. I feel like this one and Rise are kind of like they're very close because Rise to me was like so surprisingly good that I think like it's better. Like it's actually like really good. I tell people like you need to watch this movie because it's way better than you think it would be.
It took me a few watches, so like, you know what? This is a good movie for Rise.
Dude, Malfoy's in it.
Malfoy gets got. Good for the apes that came back with it.
And then also just because you're mentioning him, when he was on The Flash, he does make a reference to going to the
That's right. Yeah, I remember.
You know what?
I think he had like it was maybe like 2 or 3 years after he shot the movie or after the movie came out, that when he was on the show he made a reference to it. He's like, are you going to the Planet of the Apes? You're going to the Planet of the Apes.
It's like, no, you're going to Planet of the Apes. Fun fact about Dawn, Patrick Doyle did the music.
That's why it's awesome.
That's pretty
Did he? It wasn't Giacchino?
No, it was definitely Giacchino.
And
I
for
saw it
Rise.
earlier. Oh, for Rise.
No,
Oh,
Rise.
You said Dawn.
You said Dawn.
Did I just say Dawn? Okay, sorry. I always get
I think once Matt Reeves came in, it was Giacchino.
Title-wise, I always get Rise and Dawn.
Well, they probably should have flipped the title.
Yes, it should have been. It should have been.
I
I've been saying
agree.
this for years.
It doesn't really make sense.
My God, it
Doesn't make
should be
sense.
for
Kind of like the
Dawn
Star
is
Wars
literally
titles don't
the
make sense.
beginning.
Yeah, like I
Dawn?
also
Have
agree.
you seen that like those videos of the guy saying like
The Star Wars
you
one?
can this is how you switch the titles where they make
Yeah.
more sense in Star Wars.
Yeah, episode 2 should be like Phantom Menace or something like that, or like it's or is it, or like he comes back from death, so it's the Phantom Menace or whatever. Anyway,
It's on a
Good.
lesser extent. It's just 2 movies.
Right,
Yeah,
so-
those 2 movies are always the names I get mixed up, but I
Dawn
know
is
what
the
happens.
beginning. Rise is what happens after the dawn.
right?
But Rise happens before the dawn. What?
That was around the time of when a lot of rising of things were happening, and I kind of like don't like it because with good movies, it overuses it. Like when bad movies use rise of something, then it like
The Dark Knight.
It rises.
I felt like that was such a lazy,
Yeah.
like even though it makes sense in the movie, but it's like, but you just added one word to the second movie. Like
If anything,
It
the
dilutes,
first
it dilutes the idea of.
it's like you just added rises to the second
Yeah,
movie.
it dilutes the power
It should have
that
been
the
called
word
like
rise can
so.
have.
The first one was called Batman Begins. The second one's Dark Knight. It should have been called like The Bat Rises or something like that.
Well, 'cause
it could have been
in my
anything
mind-
else.
in my
Why
mind,
the Dark Knight Rises?
those 2, Dark Knight and Dark Rise, should have been flipped. At the very least, but not the Dark Knight Rises and then the Dark Knight.
Yeah.
It should have been something else before
Yeah.
Dark Knight. That should have been the third
And
movie.
Dark Knight was a Batman movie, and you know who made a Batman movie? Matt Reeves. Let's take it back to Dawn. Boom, boom. But yeah, so I think Dawn is the best. I think it's the best by a pretty good margin before
to
War, and then War and this one are pretty. I would say the last 3, War, Rise, and Kingdom, are pretty close, but I'd still put Kingdom as the third. And then I'll give this one a 7.5. Dr. Zaius's. That's what I'll do.
Dr. Zaius.
Damn.
Nice.
Okay, Anthony, I think was reading my mind first because this is I would put Dawn as the top as well.
Ooh.
But War is pretty. I would say War is closer,
Dude, Gary Oldman.
but that's why Dawn is really good. Among other reasons, but the whole idea with the little girl. I don't know. It's
Felicity. Psh, come on.
It's so you have Dawn. I almost got them confused again. So it's Dawn, War, and then really closely under War is Kingdom, because I really liked the subtle things that went through with a lot of the world building. I think really has it as it's solid. It's standalone, but it connects well enough with all the others. And then Rise, but Rise, I liked. For various things, even though Rise tried to tie it into the original Planet of the Apes with the Icarus and all that stuff, but the commonality among all these movies, all 4 of these movies, is that in one way or another, Maurice is in it, and that is why they're cool. I don't care if he's in a flashback in Kingdom; it's still cool because it's Maurice. And Rocka takes up the Maurice torch and being the cool orangutan.
Moving forward, we're never gonna get Maurice again.
No.
I know.
Maurice on the Planet of the Apes.
That's what it's gonna be.
title.
That's the title of this episode, guys. Maurice of the Planet of the Apes. We keep talking about how great of a character Rocka is, and Noah.
Some
Noah's
people call
character
me Maurice, man.
and the subtleties of May, and but no, it's always gonna come back to Maurice because Maurice is so freaking cool.
Jason Clarke, I forgot he was in Dawn also.
Yeah, he's in Dawn, dude. Like,
So good.
And
Kirk Acevedo. Kerry Russell.
Kerry Russell, Gary
Cody
Oldman,
Smith McPhee.
Cody Smith
Yeah.
McPhee. Yeah.
Who played Nightcrawler in Apocalypse? X-Men
God,
Apocalypse?
we have to talk about that? Never mind.
And the power of the.
So
Isn't
yeah,
that
and then
right?
my rating is honestly going to also be a 7.5.
Nice.
Like,
So I have the
that's-
highest. Interesting.
Yeah, you gave it an 8, right? An 8.
An eight.
Yeah.
Eight
I
out of-
gave it
An 8 out of
7.
10.
Because I would give-
7.5 lobotomized humans from the original. No, that was dark. Sorry.
'Cause I-
7.5. Oh no, that's 7.5 eagles. Oh no. Like,
7.5
So you
Novas.
left one.
7.5
no,
Novas.
that's half a person.
Exactly.
Cutting them in half.
You left one.
What? Yeah, right. Like we
7.5
left
Novas.
7.5. No.
Electric staffs or whatever that.
Because I would give Rise like a 7.5. I think it fits somewhere around there.
Yeah, I mean, and Rises was really good.
They're all good.
Yeah,
the
they're all
bottom line
good.
is they're all
Yeah,
good.
These new Apes films
It's
are
just
really
varying
good.
degrees of good.
Good. So
They're,
yeah,
they're all different though too. Like different. Like,
they're different,
vibes.
not tonally, but like I mean, kind of sort of tonally too. Like, and it's like
I mean, especially from Rise to Dawn, it's a
Right.
huge.
2 and 3 are closer together.
Yeah.
Because of just the Matt Reeves
conflict.
effect.
yeah,
Let me
the Matt Reeves effect. Yeah, the same director.
make it darker. Yeah.
But overall, yeah, I think Kingdom's great. If it's still in theaters and you're listening to this, give it a shot. If it ever comes out on digital media or media to own it. Like there should be. They're probably gonna be like
Coming
a 4-pack
soon to own on
DVD. You barely alive for that. Anyway,
Damn.
I was in middle school when that was still a thing.
This is definitely a movie that you should see in theaters.
try to see it on a nice
Yeah.
big ass screen. I know they were doing IMAX stuff, but I don't know if it's still there anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it's already been almost 3 weeks. I think 3 weeks now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it might be out of large formats.
Yeah, but I'm sure you can still
Wow.
probably find Limax
Maybe like an early.
Oh,
or
Limax
like
showing,
a
yeah.
RPX, one of those Screen X's. But yeah, it's a very beautiful movie to look at. And if it's any indication of how the Zelda movie will be, then the Zelda movie might be
a little better. We expect,
nice
baby.
looking. I don't know about the makeup on the people.
This was
but
his
the,
test.
The vistas
Yeah,
will
this
look
was
nice.
his test, and I think Wes Ball, did a good job with this. So I have a feeling he's going to be pretty busy for the next couple years, 5-6
I think
years.
he like had a scene when he was having Noah on the horse, just like walking through plains, and he probably just said like Grotto Valley, boom, and then
No, that was Hyrule Field. probably.
it could have been. He's like, hey, just imagine the castle in the back, and
They're
then
like, oh, wow, and then a freaking pogo like jumps you. Whack. Anyway, so yeah, that is that's our our take on the Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Definitely give it a watch. It's really good. We enjoyed it. But moving on, but we're still gonna keep for
Good
next
acting.
time. Yeah, great acting too. I mean, we mentioned it before, but
Mm-hmm.
keeping on the theme of post-apocalyptic stuff. Danny, what are we gonna talk about next week?
Yeah, so this is also another new release as we're heading into the summer of all these blockbusters. We got Furiosa, a Mad Max story or saga.
A Mad Max saga. George Miller back with some wild post-apocalyptic Australian desert road warrior, making it epic to the max of all this some wild practical effects and big over-the-top action with some cool writing and character growth. Anyway, we're hoping to get that next week or whenever you listen to it. Get our take on that, which I will say ahead of time, if we're going to talk about this, definitely give Fury Road a watch if you have not seen Fury Road yet, because that movie is also the freaking bomb. It's probably like George Miller's best movie, but...
what? Happy Feet?
No.
Babe?
Yes, better than Babe. Even though I cried at the end when That'll Do Pig hit. Like,
That'll do.
That'll Do Pig.
Happy Feet 2?
Yeah. Speaking of that'll do for this week's episode of the Popcorn Watch List. Check out the 4 emojis that Danny posted up on Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. See if you agree, and keep playing the emoji game and see what you would put for some of the other Planet of the Apes films. Do Rise, Dawn, and War. That would be a lot of fun. What would you put for Bad Ape? Would you just put
Bad Ape?
Yeah, like it would be like 4 emojis, but for just Bad Ape.
Bad Ape.
Bad Ape.
Yeah. Like a puffer jacket, a hoodie.
You'd have to put 2 like finger emojis, like the one going like this and then the one going like this. So it's kind of like a no bad ape, like a no bad ape, and then you have to figure out the other two.
And we'll let you guess what Anthony just did.
Wagging of the finger. It's kind of like pointing up and then pointing towards you. Up and towards.
Out on his forehead.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much again for tuning in. Let's keep the conversation going. We are on X, formerly known as Twitter, Threads, Instagram, YouTube with the audio files of this, as well as your podcast platform of choice. Until next great ape apocalypse, take care, everybody, and ape
together.
Strong.